I'm back. Is it audible now? Because it's it's giving. Oh, so I have to pause myself. Hey, Freya, Mumu. Nice name. That's a cute cat. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to scare you. Okay, so it's working now. Okay, okay. Now, so like, if you have anything in particular in mind, then I'll be happy to cover that. Or 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 maybe I'll just pick a topic, just random topic. Working. Drunk camel. You guys have different names here compared to your. I want to give a disclaimer. Last in my last live, I hi Bart. In my what do you call it? In my last what do you call it? In my last live, I spoke about a technique, and let me just paste that technique here because um, the thing is, oh, oh, I sent something to the wrong chat. Dude, it is so confusing. Like shifting from one screen to another is so much confusion. But anyway, this is the technique that I spoke about in my last live. And thanks, Freya. So I just want to um, give a disclaimer that try not to do an experiment with these because they're like a warning. They're like these directions are like a warning. So try not to use in order to test it. Try not to go in those directions on these days. Instead, what you can do if you really want to like generate or like if you really need some kind of evidence, then you can go back to your past travel records and then you can what do you call decide uh, analyze how the past the journey happened. Okay, so like I told you, I gave one example in my experience. It was okay. So in my experience, it was east direction twice in a row. Actually, three times. I have traveled in east direction three times, and every single time I faced some or the other issue. All three times. So first one was a longer distance, and it was a flight, and the second one was train, and the third one was also train. And fourth one that didn't happen. Yeah, that happened. I don't know why it happened. It's been happening since yesterday. So so yeah, I'll tell you how it happened. I'll just write it here if I can. Okay. So first one was a flight. So the first one was a flight, and it was on a Saturday, and it was in the east direction. So result, outcome, I was sick during the entire flight. Sorry. Second was, let me increase font. Second was, I think, second one was a train journey, and it was train. So it was shorter distance, right? But again, it was Saturday plus east direction, and outcome was a little like sickness, but not a lot. Mainly, there was a 6 to 7 hours delay. So I had booked a hotel between the destination of this particular train, and I was supposed to take another train, and I could not spend like much time in that hotel because I could not even sleep for four. I had initially planned for sleep for 4 hours, and I couldn't even do that. I had to put an alarm and sleep for barely 40 minutes. Third one was on a Thursday, and I just, it was just within my city. So it was again, third one was a train Thursday, and it was from north to south. So I went in the south direction, and outcome again, like it. This was more like drained. Suddenly, I was so drained that like lack of energy, and we had some plans of like sightseeing and stuff, but along with me there was a second person who took a flight from north to south, and that particular person, that was supposed to be 2.5 hours flight, and you know how long it went for 7 hours because there was a long what do you call layover in the middle for no apparent reason, because it never goes and stops there, but it did for some reason, and then this person fell more sick than I did, and this is a really strong person. For example, what do you call um like they look like WWE, all these fighters. They're very strong person, and just because of this particular journey, they were very sick the entire duration that they were in Mumbai. Next, after this, again, fourth journey was again Saturday. It was a train Saturday, the same destination as the earlier train, which was on a Saturday in each direction. This time, even though I was consciously aware of like the previous episodes, I completely ignored it. I completely ignored it, and I ignored it in the third time. But the fourth time, it was not my choice. Somebody else had booked the tickets for me, so I just had to show up. And because she lives near, yeah, going against the current, it's like difficult. And again, you know what? 7 hours delay. Just the two of us. Everybody was there on time because they flew a day in advance, and some people like they took what do you call they took train on a different date, and just the three of us who went by train on Saturday, we got delayed. And anyway, but you know what? Wherever we were going, it was the guy who taught us these techniques, so he was not really mad about it. He was more concerned that whether we arrive okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna highlight this text because it's accurate the way you're putting it. And yeah, So this is crazy. So these examples, and today I posted some other examples somewhere because I have started doing survey on this technique, and these are other professional astrologers which are giving me feedback on this particular thing. And one of those is this. Other one is a long conversation. Like I had to really explain them how to use this. Um, so I can show it right away. I'm going to polish that particular episode. But this one, look, she has so many instances. On a Sunday afternoon, she went from London to Southampton. I don't know what direction that is, but I'm going off of her feedback that those are the most memorable delays in the past year. So it's interesting to see it lining up with what you said. So according to her, it's lining up. And this conversation I had recently, so I didn't like really have cross verify it. But I'm because she's an astrologer, a professional one. I'm going off of her feedback. But next time maybe I will cross verify this feedback and get back to you guys. So that's it. Like I don't want to get too much into this because today I'm trying to test another thing. Um, I'll be testing. What do you call it? I want to see whether I can teach BPHS live. Okay. So let's begin with the basics. The only thing is like I think my this is not getting connected. Hold on, let me connect my drawing pad. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know whether it's the drivers or whether it's the USB cord. Something there. Okay. So how will I know if you say something? Anyway, I'm just gonna try my best to keep switching if required. So, some basics, whenever you see any Vedic charts, this confusion happens a lot. And I'm just like, first I will just dispel all the confusion that you guys have. So what happens is sometimes there are numbers like this: 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. And it's easy to confuse them with houses. A lot of people think that these are houses, but actually they're not houses. In India, we don't really use the symbols. We don't use them. I do for for explaining you guys. But these symbols, most Indians don't even know the symbols. So I'm like trying to go off of my memory and try to draw the symbols. Yeah, so these symbols are not really used or known in India. Instead, we use the numbers which signify what sign it is. So 3 is always Gemini, 2 is always Taurus, 1 is always Aries, 12 is always Pisces, and so on. Okay, and house numbers are never written down because this is always the first house, this is always the second house, this is always the third house, this is always the fourth house, this is always the fifth house, sixth house, seventh house, eighth house, ninth house, 10th house, 11th, and 12th house. Okay, so these are some like that is a zodiac sign number, yes. So these are like common confusions that can happen while looking at Indian charts. So first house is always going to be this one. Okay, this is always going to be the first house. Now, There is another thing in Vedic astrology that also causes a lot of confusion, and that particular thing is called Kal Purusha. Kal Purusha. Okay, so Kal here means time, Purusha means man. Now, there is a Western version of this, and he's called the Zodiac Man. This is basically Kal Purusha. So, but why is it Indian? Is it used in the Indian astrology? There is a reason for that. So, Kal Purusha is also a chart that is used mostly in the basics classes of Vedic astrology, and it is mainly talking about just the signs. And even though it's the same chart which is used for houses, Kal Purusha, no, no. With how to determine how well planets are placements, and do we determine them based on the original rules of the house? Zodiac numbers are that is zodiac sign numbers. Um, See, are you commenting on Kal Purusha? Because I did not understand your question. Can you if you rephrase it, it will make little more sense to me. Uh, yeah. So in this, see, it's easy to confuse Kal Purusha. It's easy to confuse Kal Purusha with ABC. ABC, you know what houses, what people do. It's a modern thing, but it's not. It's not that. Okay? It's not. So I'm just gonna do a red cross here. Just to, no, it's not ABC. What? It's not ABC. Okay? It's just one. The houses, they're not even houses. These are not even for showing houses. But then this is the only chart of, where it's like available, and you just place it there. So again, it's used to signify all the signs in these in these boxes. So that's it. Kal Purusha is basically Kal Purusha, just signs minus the houses. But it also always begins with Aries. So whenever someone says make a Kal Purush Kundli, some people use it for predictions also. So what they mean is keep Aries in the first house, and then you do the predictions. So that's a concept. I've never seen anyone clarify. I don't know why people do that. For example, how would I know if certain planet is well placement in specific house? For example, Cancer ascendant, Jupiter is first house. How would I know if this is good position or bad position? Yeah, I didn't even get there yet, Bart. I'm first explaining the concept of Kal Purusha. Okay. Did, did you understand the portion that I said about Kal Purusha? Because if you did not pay attention, the confusion is like going to, just persist. Um, so Kal Purusha is just a chart in which Aries is always in the first house, and you are not exactly doing any house systems on it. You can call it whole sign, but the concept of Kalpurusha is basically you don't know what the you don't know the ascendant, or you can mark the ascendant. For example, if you're making a Kalpurush Kundli, you can mark ascendant like this. If it's Cancer, you're going to mark it like this. If it's Sagittarius is the first house, then you mark it like this. So that's another way of marking ascendant in a Kalpurush Kundli. But it is mainly used for teaching in the basics level, and yeah, that's mainly what one thing that you have in Vedic, which doesn't properly get explained in when you call Western circles, and it can also create confusion because people think that it's like ABC, like first house when Aries is always going to be like first house. No, their Aries and first house are not interchangeable. It's just that in this particular chart, Aries is always in the first house. I hope it makes sense. And yeah. Do you have any questions now? I'll take what you have in mind. I get carried away. Sorry, I got lost for a minute. Okay, I'm gonna shut this now. I was just testing it. As long as I'm audible, I'm just gonna end this now. But I'll start it again after some time. But I need a break. I want to come prepared with the second presentation. Okay? Thanks for joining. Wait, you can give me feedback on this one. Is this audible? Oh, there's music here. Is the background music audible? Ah, not really too. Is the background music audible?